Good morning and welcome to Peace Out, where we are all learning together to peace out. I have no idea how I made it by 8, but here we are. We're here. We're good to go, right? Still talking about his peace that never leaves us. I'm going to talk about a real familiar scripture today. I was all over the place with my studying this morning, and I actually kind of like it when it's like that. I like studying one thing and taking it through from beginning to end, but I also like when I go over here and over there and somewhere else in scriptures, and I go, oh, but then what about this one? And then what about that one? And what about this and that one? And then these all fit together, because it's like putting together a puzzle, and all of a sudden it makes this big picture of God's peace, of God's provision, of God's pathway, of God's presence. He's just amazing, and I love when it all comes together. I had one of those moments this morning. I started in Philippians. I was actually looking at, I can do everything through Christ who strengthens me, verse 13, and thinking about how Paul is actually talking about good and bad in that, right? That I can have a lot or I can have a little. It can be abundance or it can be lack. It can be famine, feast or famine, and I can do whatever God puts in front of me. I'm content to do whatever, to live through whatever circumstances I'm in, no matter whether it's pressing or it's a huge a blessing or whatever is going on. I can do it because Christ is living in me. That's a message in itself. But I backed up a little bit in this chapter, and I went back to something that we've talked about a lot. We've read this scripture because it talks about this is how you experience God's peace. It's in verse 6. Don't worry about anything. I'm already out because I got a long list, right? Okay, don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need. This is such a simple formula. We can use this as a formula. There's not many formulas in the scripture, right? This is one. Tell God what you need. Thank him for what he's done. Tell God what you need. Thank him for what he's done. And as I thought about that, I thought, you know what? There is a scripture in Psalm 77 that keeps coming back in my mind. So I ran over to Psalm 77 because what I like about Psalm 77, Asaph wrote it, and they're kind of restoring the temple worship. David is king and all of that. And he's writing to the choir director, to Jeduthun, I guess is how you say it. And he's going, I can't even pray. I'm so distressed. What? Yeah, that's what it says. You don't let me sleep. I'm too distressed even to pray, in verse 4. That's how he would have felt. I love that God let that be in the Bible, because sometimes we condemn ourselves because we don't have the right words. God's not looking for the right words. He's just looking for the right position of our heart, which is worship, which is bowing before him, which is saying, I don't even know what to do. You're not supposed to all the time. God already has it figured out. It's okay if you find yourself in a place where you're so distressed you don't even know how to pray, right? And he goes on, he goes on and he talks about how, is God even looking? Has he rejected me forever? Is that it? Is God done? And we're not going to see God move anymore? And then in verse 11, he totally shifts and he goes, I will recall what you have done. That's what we just read in Philippians, right? Tell God what you need. Thank him for what he's done. Then you'll have peace. And Asaph gives us a beautiful picture of that in Psalm 77. If you get a chance later today or after the video, or pause it. If you're not watching live, pause it and go do it, right? Go read Psalm 77, because he goes on to say, he's like, okay, I don't really see God doing anything right this minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back and begin to thank him for the things he has done. And you know what? He goes way back to before he was even born to thank God. We can go back to Genesis 1 and go, gosh, I thank you for creation, because it's one of the most amazing things. It is mind-boggling, mind-blowing to look at my little flowers out front and the intricate details, or the orchids I have in here. They're just beautiful. It's just like, how did you do that? And then in the same time, they got bugs on them. What? But bugs that have intricate details. Some of those little bugs and beetles are just beautifully designed. I'm excited. I forgot what I needed because I started focusing on what God has done. Right? And that's what Asaph is doing. That's what Paul tells us in Philippians. He's like, pray for what you need. Thank him for what he's done. So Asaph says, you know what? I don't see God moving right now on my behalf, But verse 11, I will recall what you have done, O Lord. And he goes on down. Then he begins to say, you're in my thoughts. God, you are in my thoughts. All of your deeds, all your ways are holy. Is there any God as mighty as you? Can you just feel the atmosphere shift from, oh, God's not even looking at me. God doesn't even know what's going on. God, are you even here? To, you're holy. You're a holy, creative, powerful, present God. Is there any God as mighty as you? You are the God of miracles and wonders. This whole psalm just changed. The whole tune changed, right? And he says, you demonstrate your awesome power among the nations. You redeemed your people by your strength. All the descendants of Jacob and Joseph by your might. And then he says, I love this in the New Living. When the Red Sea saw you, O God, the waters trembled. Think about that. Think about that. When the Red Sea, so we're talking about the children of Israel crossing over, right? And Asaph wasn't there, but he knew the story, right? And Moses is there, the army's pressing in behind, and Moses looks at the Red Sea and God says, I brought you here, let's go. And the Red Sea goes, wait, let me get out the way. Let me get out the way. And it says God blew, of course, with the wind and parted the Red Sea. But I love Asaph's take on that. When the Red Sea saw you, God, it started shaking. It started moving out the way, right? But here's the coolest part down there. Your road led through the sea, verse 19, your pathway through the mighty waters, a pathway no one knew was there. You led your flock, your people, along the road like a flock of sheep with Moses and Aaron as their shepherds. Their pathway was under the Red Sea. From the time God said, let there be light, he already knew Moses was going to be at the edge of the Red Sea, and there was a pathway ready for Moses to. Nobody ever saw it before. Nobody's ever seen it after, right? But there was a pathway under the Red Sea. And so when it all came to that this is one of those fullness of times when time catches up with what God already did in eternity. There was already a pathway. There was a way to go. There was a way out of a very sticky, dangerous situation, a very pressing situation. There was already a path prepared. If you're in a sticky situation today, God's already got the path prepared. He didn't wake up this morning with you and say, oh, what are you going to do today? Oh, what's today going to bring? Is it going to be a good day? Is it going to be a bad day? He's like, I can't wait to show you what I can do today. And we're going to start with peace, right? We're going to start with salvation. We're going to start with the mighty acts of God in our own heart. We're going to, as Asaph says, your ways are holy, God. Is there any God as mighty as you? They're the God of miracles. You're the God of wonders. You demonstrate your awesome power among the nations. I want to see it in my life today. And he's not surprised by today. We're going to be surprised by the things he does today. We are surprised when the Red Sea parts and there's a pathway already there, a dry pathway already there, and go, whoa, look what God did. And God said, yeah, I did that when I said, let there be light. I already made the way. Our part is just to get closer to him, to listen to him, to get in his word. What has he given us today? How is he going to make a way when life is pressing in from one side and it looks like we have no way to go on the other, and it looks like there's just definite doom, right? That doesn't look like there's an escape. God already has a path. So if you can't see it, go back to Philippians. It says, if you tell God what you need and thank him for what he has done. God, I need your provision. God, I need your wisdom. God, I need direction. I need an answer to this big question. I need help in this area. And I'm going to thank you that you made a way in the Red Sea for the children of Israel, because that means there's a way for me today too. And then it says, when you do that, you will experience God's peace that is so much more than your human mind can even understand. How amazing is that God already has today taken care of? He's not even in tomorrow going, I don't know, today's about to catch up, I better hurry. He took care of everything. He literally took care of everything before he said, let there be light. Jesus was crucified before the foundation of the world, Revelation 8:13. That means he made a way to fix what was broken before it got broken. He already knew. And there's, even if it's a cracked pot, there's no signs of that crack anymore, right? God took care of it. He's already taken care of our most pressing worries for today. He's already taken care of it. There's already a path. We just have to pray, tell him what we need, and thank him for what he's done, and then walk in that peace that comes knowing there's already a pathway for us prepared. We just may not see it yet, but it is there. He won't abandon us. He won't go, oh, no, hold on a second. I know they're coming fast, but let me figure something out. He already did it. He knew right where you were going to be right this moment. Blows my mind. And he already made a way through the whatever the Red Sea represents in your life today. He's already made a way through it for you. For that, I'm going to be thankful. And I think I'll just peace out, because that's the best way to handle whatever's in front of us. Peace out. Trust God. He's got a way already prepared. You can take that to the bank, I promise. Peace out, you guys. Have a great day. See you again tomorrow.